What's up, boys? Today we're going to be trying out a full damage over time impact axe build, so we're going Interrogator, hoping to find that as probably the fourth weapon in all honesty, and we're looking for the acid and fire trail basic overclocks for that, as well as the new level 18 overclock that causes it to throw out multiple axes at the same time. And then to go with that, we'll probably be looking for the fire and acid grenades, so we can have a full red and green throwable builds. I think we might need some of that. So I think the biggest issue here with the axe is that it just doesn't scale very well. It's very hard to get weapon level ups that actually do anything for it. It only has damage and reload speed available by default, and we're not really going to be using damage on it as a damage over time build since weapon damage doesn't affect that. And then you get kind of a limited effect from reload speed since there isn't anything to go with it. Well, we got it right away. I guess I'll have to take that. We can at least start pumping the levels. But the fire and acid grenades definitely would have helped me out more early on, and they would have scaled better.
Swarm's heading your way. Load up.
Yeah, I think they just need to allow the axe to get fire rates to go with the reload speed, and then if you get the trail effects on it, it should probably have potency available. But right now it's just so hard to scale it up as you get later into the game. Really pick up. And that gets even worse for a damage over time build, where you have literally only one stat that kind of helps but doesn't really scale that well without the other stat that pairs with it most of the time.
LZ clear. Supplies inbound. Heads up.
Decent reload, I guess. They'll be good for the grenades at least, so we'll take reload when that's available. Early gold scanner to help us get some nice global stats. Chemist is actually pretty good, but nah. We'll go for the extra stats. Here we'll take lifetime. Damage isn't the greatest for Interrogator, since you have the penalty to that in return for the massive stat damage bonus. I'll take an axe level or status. Yeah, we should probably take that at every opportunity I can. That's one of the only stats that's actually very good here. There are 4 different basic overclocks available to the axe, so you're not guaranteed to get both of them, although you have a pretty good shot at it. No, can't avoid the magnets. Probably the axe level here. This will help me out the most in the early game, even though it doesn't really work with status effects.
Objective completed.
I think the early game might actually be pretty rough, with the axe as the first weapon. And we're also on this map because it's fun, but there's no rocks to drop on the elites, and then you have the wardens giving them shields as well.
I die a little inside every time I have to take out.
I'll take a potency here, I think.
growing out of hand. Get it done, miner.
The dwarf is up great.
The threat level keeps rising. You have to move, miner.
Just trying to keep the beam on them as long as possible, so we'll move with the rotation kind of.
Come and get me, you
Then I think they're low enough now we can go for a bit of gold with a scanner. No boxes, so we may as well try and get a little bit extra value out of the shop.
Be happy you can see my scanner. But I advise that you move, miner.
Sludge pump? Nah, we don't want beam upgrades. Incendiary grenade, that works.
Threat level increasing.
Damage, potency, probably just that will make the biggest difference later on. Nice pickup radius.
Wee, not too shabby.
They got your scent now. Threat level increased.
Reload is pretty good for the 2 grenades, and damage is kinda junk on that, so I guess we will.
To try this out.
All tasks complete. Stage finished. The drop
Global
pod is ready.
damage.
Get on it before it leaves.
Potency is good for that.
Meet your maker, Craig. Go.
These are pretty bad. I guess we'll take the level on that. We'll be getting durable upgrades the most, so just getting some more overclocks there is not bad. Reload's pretty good though.
Shoot to kill.
Explosion radius, we do want that, since it works on the axes, and it's
Leave.
fun.
Get your ass moving, miner.
Shoot it in the face.
Stage 1 completed. Well done. Taking you to stage 2.
Luck, definitely. I'll take that for the levels when it's in the shop, some early movement. Those are pretty expensive for a weapon type. We're not really scaling up a ton here. Potency's not bad though.
I'm feeling lucky.
We'll lock that for later. Grab that since we have a gold scanner, and then that's one of the best weapons here anyways.
You have your objectives. Get it done, miner.
That guy's mission to the sky. Up and over. Back down again. To the sky.
I'll take an axe level out of those. But yeah, we're level 5 and we've gotten one upgrade that kind of works for the builds.
Exemplary work. You've achieved your objective in a record time.
But I guess with no basic overclocks, even if they did unlock potency, it would actually still be the same right now. It would just open up stuff a bit later on. Also, the small detonators are a massive pain right now, my god. I just can't do anything at all to them right now.
Hey, Bugs! How's my butt look from down there? Huh? Let's show to the sky!
If you stand on top of the hoarders with a beam weapon, then I believe all of them hit at the same time. Okay, nice. We got the neurotoxin without needing to reroll for it. So you can actually stack up a lot of damage over time effects on them at the same time. That's completely useless on this map. Why is that even a thing here? Let's go some more movement speeds.
We can't send in supplies until you clear out the landing zone.
Like, I don't see why it's not just disabled on this map, or maybe let it generate the max HP as you're healing at the crystals at a slower rate. Here, probably the luck. We have all of our damage over time going now, which can't crit. Well, for those two anyways, and then that'll help us out in the long run.
We got a supply box. Swarm's heading your way. Load up.
Weapon box. That could be cool. The Hurricane. We can add a burning ground effect to that, so it might actually be decent here. I've never had that on Interrogator before. We can get an overclock here. Go for some potency on that. I have messed around with some burning rocket launcher before, and it runs into the issue where it's difficult to scale up because adding the burning effect to that also doesn't unlock potency for it. We should probably grab that, yeah. But Interrogator will at least give a big boost to the status effects. We could probably try and go for the triple grenade on that next. That would be a pretty big upgrade. And we're heavily focused on fire now with 4 weapons that can potentially do it. With a maximum of 2 weapons that can potentially do acid here. One bad thing is that the Hurricane and Impact Axe will always have the baseline kinetic tag, which we absolutely do not want, so that's one extra upgrade that's pretty bad for me. But honestly, I think it could be cool later on. I'm just gonna grab the Axe Overclock here, and unfortunately, we can never get the double ground effect now. I guess a bit of extra weapon range, since there's only... I think we'll have enough reload speed, since that's the only stat that's relevant on the weapon levels. May as well get the weapon range, since that's a rarer stat to get. Paint job, I think I will grab that into the second overclock, plus 1 beams. It's also putting some pretty good damage on the elites here. Lifetime doesn't work on 2 of the weapons that I really want to scale up here. That works on at least those 3. I think we'll just go there. Yeah, I don't think the lifetime works on the axes either, even once you get any of the damaging effects on them. There's just so many cool things that they could do, but just nothing in the entire game works on them, it feels like.
Ain't a picnic, Miner. The bugs are all over you.
Can you run them through the healing crystals to make the level last longer if you wanted to mine a bit more? Yeah, you can. I don't think we're really going to drag it out that much here. I don't really have enough mining speed to benefit from it right now.
Watch it.
Big throwable. Reload is the main stat we want on that, and that won't actually apply to their status effects. So it's actually a bit tough here. I think this might help more overall. Reload is the main and only real stats we want on the Hurricane, and then throwable damage has reduced value on Interrogator. Potency is pretty good. Potency.
The bugs are growing stronger.
I'll take a status here, I think.
Well done. Objective completed. Drop pod has arrived. Get there now. It will leave without you.
Explosion radius? Okay, that works on the Hurricane as well. That's fantastic, actually. Oh man, we got heavy reload with that as well. That's 2 upgrades we really don't want with it. Heavy and kinetic. Big paint job to get the axe overclocks a bit faster.
Well done,
Ow.
Miner. We knew we could trust you to go it alone. Stage 2 completed.
Axe level, big explosion. Let's do a couple of rerolls just in case, and we got that. I think I'll take that for a cheap level just because I want to see if we can get the burning. Oh, what did I get at level 6? Clip size. That's not terrible. 33% increase, but I think one of the unstable ones also has something to do with that. So you might not want to combine those. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to see what all is over there. We'll take a cheap reload for that. And then probably save that since it's one of the stats we want the most for it.
There's beasties to shoot and work to be done. Get to it, Miner.
Bit of XP since I don't think we have any of that yet.
Swarm detected. Get ready. They'll be with you shortly.
Yeah, the Hurricane actually does help out quite a bit with the elites right now, even though I don't have a ton of basic damage. We got a few pretty high rarity crit upgrades early on.
We got a blocked landing site for the supply pod. Get it cleared out, Miner. Good work. There's a resupply on the way.
Let's go a bit more pickup over just damage for both of those. Ooh, 5-leaf clover to help us find some nice rarity upgrades. Or rather, some higher rarity, I mean. Well, it does also help you find more luck in the shop, since that only appears at blue and purple. So that kind of is a rarity upgrade. Paint job, yeah, I think we'll take that. Feels like we're a bit low on the weapon levels right now, for most of them. Level 1 neurotoxin grenade.
Objective complete. The scanner just lit up like a Christmas tree. We got a swarm incoming.
Big reload and pickup. I think I'm going here. And then we can get the triple grenade, very nice. That's going to be a very high damage weapon here with that plus the potency. And a pretty heavy fire focus as well throughout the builds. Although, also, because you can't add any damage type tags, the axe and the hurricane will never scale with the global fire upgrade. It gives damage and potency. I'd also kind of like to see that change. It just feels kind of off that you can have a weapon dealing primarily fire damage and it just doesn't benefit from that. Big damage on the axe. It's not good, but whatever. Huh, we're actually pretty close to a purple. Let's try and nuke this guy down, keeping the beam on him. That does work on 3 of them, yeah, I guess. Can we get a purple? No, we're like a second off. Rip.
But I advise that you move, miner. Satisfied.
Paint job on the axe. We can probably do more with Nitra in the shop here. Lifetime for those two. Nah, I'm gonna grab some decent survivability for a damage over time build. Explosion radius. I've gotta take it. It's just too fun. And it works on 4 weapons for an interrogator, which isn't super common.
Gather up your beard and get onto that drop pod. It's about to leave.
Potency, yup.
You don't see these every day.
Stage 3 completed. Taking you to stage 4. Did good work, miner.
Luck, reloads. Do I want a paint job? 18 would give me explosion radius on that probably. I don't think that's super important.
Surely next time
We'll get up there eventually with paint jobs and stuff. Okay, here we go. Incendiary payload. I've never gotten the opportunity to do this on Interrogator before, so it could actually be pretty interesting. Cheap potency, paint job, bit of armor since we're out of Nitra anyways.
Get to work. There's aliens to be killed and gold to be mined.
This is a friggin' hell. Found the Nitra. This dwarf's got hearts.
Oh yeah, I guess we probably could have numbers on for a bit. I always forget to re-enable that after I get a really silly build going.
Swarm detected. Get ready. They'll be with you shortly.
Open. Meet your maker, Craig. Think you can kill me? Well, think again. It will get you killed. Something incredible is happening here. I feel amazing.
Ready for insertion. The drop point is
Reloads
too
here,
rushed,
I
so please
think.
clear it out.
Will help me out the most.
Swarm detected. Get ready. They'll be with you shortly.
I can't hit the freaking trees, man. They're invincible even with all that fire around them.
Ooh-wee, I feel great. I should stick close to this rock.
Explosion
You don't
radius.
see these every day. To the sky.
Good work. There's a resupply on the way.
Alright, maybe we go for a red here since we got the supply drop as well. I don't mind taking the ration for some nice survivability on a dot build. Yeah, it should actually be a pretty easy red. Paint job would finish that off, be a little bit wasted, and this also fits the build more. I think we're just gonna do that.
Well done. Objective completed.
Probably HP, these are kind of junk for a dot build. And suddenly we're actually pretty tanky with 2 legendaries in the ration pack. Do need to find a mushroom somewhere. Oh, there we go.
Well done. You got them all.
Potency, that needs levels very badly.
Stage 4 completed. Next stage is the dreadnought. Prepare accordingly.
So we can check that now. I don't know if there's really a difference between these because this doesn't really change the scaling any, but it fits the build more, so we'll take it. Then Hurricane, we want to get more upgrades for that pretty quickly. Let's hold a bit since we're going to reroll anyway, see if there's anything I really want. That would be fantastic if I wanted to lock it. We have a gold scanner, so probably not. Take some movement. Lock.
I'm feeling lucky.
Pick up, and then we'll lock an axe level.
This is it. Destroy the cocoons and take out the dreadnought.
Since it's the only relevant stat we can find for it. Out of these, I think just luck here.
This one makes me want to be a better dwarf. One down. Shoot to kill.
Reload for the axe. This is better, but we are trying to see what the axe can do for a dot build. So I may as well take anything that's remotely decent for it.
I'm healing.
Too much crap to send in the supply pod. Clear out the LZ, please.
Got it right between the eyes. Let's show them
We got a launch. Supplies inbound.
These are pretty bad. This is actually a damage loss on Interrogator. Not the greatest, not terrible. We have 2 rerolls, let's see what we got. Okay, Ammo Rig actually works on the axes and is the only way to get fire rate for that. Shield belt actually isn't terrible. I think we're going to do this to give the axes the biggest boost possible. Status damage, yeah, we probably need that. Man, I love this map.
Objective completed.
Sorry, your own fault for being full of good. Hello and good boy. To the sky! This dwarf's got hops. Ryan, catch me now! I feel healthy, stronger, beautiful.
We'll go for the axe levels.
By the beard! What is this abomination? I'm not scared of you! Think you can kill me? Think again!
They're on opposite sides of the map. How did that happen?
Up and back down.
We can get a overclock there. I think I'm just gonna take the
I
18
always
here.
waste my money on cosmetics.
Out of these, let's go for some nice weapon range and potency.
Rock and stone! Attack! Alien scum! Go to hell! Smell you later, stinking bugs! Bring the pie! That will teach you! Dwarves don't die today! That will teach you!
Luck.
You don't see
Sure,
me
we'll still keep
okay?
pumping that up quite a bit. Oh my. Let's turn damage numbers off so that doesn't happen anymore. Or at least help reduce the effect a bit.
Your history!
Dreadnought down. Objective completed. Excellent job. Quota satisfied. The drop pod is arriving.
Reload gets us an overclock.
Hang around.
And we got the triple grenade right at 6 on that one. Very nice.
Up and back down again.
The drop pod is about to leave. Get your ass moving, miner.
Hooey! I feel great! I should stick close
Stage
to
5
this
complete. Diving deeper.
Status, reload for the
Not too
axe.
shabby.
Yeah, if only this would actually work on the axe and the hurricane. I think it's added to one of the tags down here, so yeah, I don't think it would work.
I want another go.
Explosion radius. Mining.
I want another go.
Reload for that. Potency for that. And then a bit of reload since we're out of nitra.
You have your objectives. Get it done, miner.
I'm ready for a build. This is over. Let's hop to it.
Big swarm detected. Doggerman, get ready. Got a blocked landing site for the supply pod. Get it cleared out, miner.
Shoot to kill. You should not ready, General. It will be a survivor train.
Prepare to fight for your life. Big swarm is approaching. Stand clear. Supply pod inbound.
Multi-tool. That's actually kind of bad for so many different weapons. But that's still the main stat we want for these four. So I will definitely take that and get a lot more burning grounds.
One down.
I think I've had like 11 or 12 stacks before with just 4 weapons. So you can definitely do a lot more than that with 5. Reload, we can check the fan of knives. So I think it throws 3 each time, which should just basically multiply the burning ground effects by that many. Although they'll go to the side, so they might miss the target a bit that they're aiming at. But they'll at least, on the return arc, hit everything that's like following behind you in a straight line, I think. Reload, we need tons of levels on that still. I guess just the damage here, they're not great. And then we probably don't have time to finish this level. My damage is actually getting too high now.
The drop pod is not going to hang around.
Yeah, probably take that. Oh no, I thought the crate over there was the drop pod. I was just looking at the little pings on the map and not really paying attention. Oops, we missed a lot of stuff there. My bad. That's kind of wasted. That's pretty good. Can't really get a whole lot here now. I'm pretty interested in getting that later on so that we can have a ton of burning ground on that. I guess we'll go ahead and finish that off. Some explosion radius. Mining, can't really do a ton with gold right now. Global's not bad. I guess we'll get that.
Get to work. There's aliens to be killed and gold to be mined.
I think we actually have a chance to make it out alive.
Swarm detected. Get ready. We'll be with you shortly.
Let's clear them out.
The scanner just lit up like a Christmas tree. We got a swarm incoming. detected. Lock up and get ready.
Hurricane, we can get the 18 on that with the one in the shop now.
Ready for insertion. The drop point is too rocky, so please clear it out.
Shoot to kill. Say your life, Tom. You shouldn't be fresh war mineral. You get killed. Your kill.
It is really hard to see anything now. Jesus. Reload gets us an overclock here, and we can go for some more potency on that.
Objective completed, miner.
Probably the nitra here. I think it's too late for that. Pickled nitra, we can. It's not going to be amazing here, but it also really won't have too bad of a downside.
Objective completed. Excellent job.
Paint shop, help get that one up to 18.
Keep pushing, miner. Stage 8 is next.
Go ahead and finish that off, and we definitely don't want that, especially since weapon damage isn't very good here, so clip size it is. And that's actually multiplicative with that, so we're up to 24. Okay, pretty cool. Don't think we want any of that. Explosion radius luck. See if we can find some good nitro stuff. That's not bad. Explosion radius every time. That's junk.
What else we got?
Ooh, I think I will take that. That's pretty good. We actually could lock that. We really only need the levels on that one. But I do want to pump up the Hurricane quite a bit if we see anything else for that, since that's the most unique thing we can do for this run. Explosion radius? Yep.
Detected. Get ready. They'll be with you shortly. Can't land the supply pod. Impact zone is cluttered. Get it fixed.
Oh god, what is happening? Why are we freezing like this? What have I done? I think probably reload speed here is the funniest. We're really not going into beam stuff, but we have a ton of explosion radius. These are pretty bad. Pay to win is decent since global damage will work on both weapon damage and damage over time.
Well, think again.
My damage is too high, we just can't really go anywhere now. I guess the level there to help finish that off a bit faster. Those are terrible, so Nitra it is. Can I find one more flower?
Well done, you got them all.
Oh god, I hope I'm fast enough. Decent armor.
Stage 8 done and dusted, taking you to stage 9.
That's a little bit wasted, so we can do that for the axe. Luck, potency to finish that off. Then I guess we may as well get a bit more damage there. Explosion radius, can't get the status now, but worth.
What else?
Ooh, big reload there. We can save that for later.
Load up and get going, miner. We have quotas to fulfill.
There's just random frozen rockets all over the sky. What?
Swarm detected. Get ready. They'll be with you shortly. Supply pod prepped and ready, miner. We need you to clean up the landing zone. One crate of goodies on the way, man. A swarm is heading your way. Load up.
Probably gold tipped. We can scale that up a little bit with a gold scanner.
I'm gonna do something epic. This.
But my damage is so high, we just don't really have time in these levels anymore. Everything is just dying now.
They'll be with you shortly.
You ugly son of a bitch. Come and get me.
Big reload for the axe, that's fine. Brings it down to 0.7. Better find some more kite because those guys are gonna melt.
Objective completed. All tasks complete. Stage finished. The drop
Big
pod is
status
prepped and
damage?
ready.
Absolutely.
Get on it before it leaves.
This thing tickles my blood. Swallow this.
We only have one chop left. Let's just take the big reload for one of the burning brand effects here. Don't think we have time for the nitro over there, especially since it would make me even slower with pickled nitro.
That elite never stood a chance. I will see to it there is a beer on the house when you make it back. If you make it back.
Explosion radius, these are not great.
Let me try again.
Potency is pretty good.
I'm raring to more options.
Reload.
Wait, nope. Try again.
Oh, I should have saved some, I guess. Rip. Reload.
Have it.
This is the big
It's
one,
like
miner.
lagging as I'm
Find and destroy
going
the
down on the drop pod now. What? There aren't even any weapon graphics on the screen right now.
Mission control, you surly bugger. This one's for you. I die a little inside every time I have to pick up.
can't see where the nitra is. Please.
This one's for Carl. I die a little inside every time I have to pick up. Up and back down again. To the sky.
Can't drop supplies for you yet. Prep the landing zone for impact.
Hey, Bugs! How's my butt look from down there?
Let's see, Turbo and Cabulator would be extremely good still for the weapon box multi-tool combo. So I kind of want to get a bit more nitra to try and reroll into that. Plus it would make it even harder to see, which would be perfect.
Good work. Supply pod inbound.
So we need to find a bit more nitra. There's got to be some at this big cluster, right? Yeah. Alright, let's see what we got. I can't see any bugs at all. So we have three rerolls. Nope. Ooh, we got it. So that's 237% global reload. And I think we have a little bit more for the throwing weapons on top of that. It's gonna take me a while to get all of these resources, but I can't see them anyway, so who even knows if there's any left here? Status damage. I don't know what's happening, but he got destroyed.
Drop pod has arrived. Get there before the timer runs out. Drop pod is not going to hang around.
I guess I should have had that on for the boss there, oops. But I also don't want the game to crash with how bad the performance is getting here. Final stats here, 270% global damage, 86 fire rates for really just the axes, 237% global reload, 440% status damage, 99 luck plus any of the rerolls from the 5-leaf clover. Just some standard stuff there, not the greatest upgrades, but we didn't really care about that. We only got the fire trail, so no double status trail for that. But we did get a pretty cool burning ground combo with the hurricane added in. Triple grenade plus potency for lots of damage. Triple grenade plus potency for lots of damage and debuffing there. And then the hurricane actually was really cool on Interrogator, but man, were there some performance issues there. Just multiple like 5-second freezes during the run. Tons of rockets, some pretty good reload speeds. You got my favorite combo of the weapon box into multi-tool and turbo and cabulator with the max value from all overclocks there. 27 stacks on that.
Quota's met. We're pulling you out. Get on back home, miner.
It's still lagging here. So we had 139 fire damage total. You could subtract about 13 million from the weapons themselves. So about 126 million fire dot total. And about 17 million acid dot total from just the neurotoxin. I don't really know if I could even calculate the breakdown between the weapons. I don't think there's any way to do that. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.